Okay.
Now, that was Robert Service, who was a British. And then he came to Canada, Robert Service, Sam McGee, and he worked for the Canadian Army in the ambulance corps. And that man was very unusual because he was a citizen of the world. He came from Britain. He served in the Canadian Army, and then he went overseas, and he came back, and then he ended up going to Australia, and he became a citizen there. He became a citizen of the world. A very interesting man. He couldn't stay in one spot. And then we have Emily Dickinson, who, as we know, during her lifetime, she only published 4 poems, and there's over 1,400 poems, I believe, or 1,100 or 1,400 poems after she was dead were published. She kept them all under her bed, basically, you know, and only released 4 because she was more interested in writing and thinking than she was in publishing, which is a very interesting concept, I find, really true to her nature about just writing and not interested in being famous, right? And a very interesting woman who said very, very easily and very plainly, to make a prairie, it takes a clover and 1 bee, a clover and 1 bee in revelry. The revelry will do when bees are few. And another one, 2 of them, she had an occupation and a preoccupation with dying and war. They seem to go together for her. I am alive, I guess. The branches on my hand are filled with morning glories. And at my finger's end, the carmine tingles warm. And if I put a glass to my mouth, it blurs it, the physician's proof of breath. I am alive because I am not in a room. The parlor common it is, where visitors come and lean and view it sideways and sigh, how cold it grew. Was it conscious when it stepped in immortality? I am alive because I do not own a house, entitled to myself precise and fitting to no one else, and marked my girlhood's name so that visitors may come and know what door is mine and not. And sometimes when we feel we have a little bit of a mal à la tête, something's going wrong, we might think of Emily Dickinson again. We have a little bit of ennui, a little disturbance through the body, as she did. She would say, I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading until it seemed that sense was breaking through. Then when all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating until it seemed my mind was going numb. Then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again, and space began to toll as if all heavens were a bell and being but an ear. I in silence, some strange race wrecked, solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and hit a world at every plunge, and finally knowing then. And I almost fell in love today, beauty surrounding, kindness abounding, my sense resounding, light, sunshine, and warmth splashing over me as if sending a plea to notice all I see. I looked, I laughed, I danced to celebrate the opening of the gate before it was too late. Again, that gate theme for life and opening up new life and new direction. They are not long, the weeping and the laughter, love and desire and hate, and I believe there is no portion in us after we pass the gate. They are not long, the days of wine and roses. Within a misty dream our path emerges for a while, then closes within a dream. What is love? Is it mirth or melancholy? Joys above, are there any or not many? If you please, love is a sweet folly full of mirth and melancholy, both of these. And for all its sadness, worth all the gladness, if you please. But prithee, where goes love a-hiding? Is he long in his abiding? Can you bind him when you find him, prithee, please? And in spring days, love comes and dallies, and over valleys and through mountains lie love's ways. Then he leaves you and deceives you in spring days. We're running out of power. Oh, we got here. We're going to juice up. Getting warm enough.